What's up, gamers? I'm here to talk about Battlefield 2042 and my personal opinion of it. Surprise, hot take, it definitely wasn't in the title. I enjoyed the game. I found it to have a lot of mechanics that were fun and actually made the game playable and enjoyable. I played about 36 hours of the beta, which is a long time, and I noticed a lot of people who had critiques with it did not play for more than 30 minutes or more than one game, and I found that to be kind of stupid. With a beta, it's free, you're not paying for it, obviously, so you shouldn't have no problem, putting some time into it, really getting a feel for the game. Looking past the bugs is okay in a beta because obviously it's going to have bugs. And I know a lot of people are really going at EA and DICE and being like, oh, this game's really buggy, this game's shit, this game's trash, it's like Cyberpunk. And I saw that comparison a lot, which is not true at all. Cyberpunk was a legitimately broken game. Textures, the way parts of the map rendered, vehicles just stop working, vehicles like randomly exploding, other stuff that just doesn't make any sense, things that are really fundamental. That was what was happening in Cyberpunk. That was not, however, happening in Battlefield 2042. Granted, there were some bugs, but, bugs can be fixed. That's an easy problem. The actual base of the game, how it felt to play and all that sort of thing was mostly good. I will say vehicle controls on PC were kind of terrible unless you were in a gunner position, and then they were fine. Other than that, not a lot of complaints. The glitches and bugs, they were kind of shitty. I will say some of them were pretty bad. The parachute one was basically a wall hack. You could see where anyone was because they still had a parachute on even when they hit the ground. That was kind of stupid. There were a few annoying things, like sometimes the plus menu was broken when you tried to pull it out while running and stuff like that. Other things that were just kind of inconveniences that you had to deal with. Various things like that were annoyances, but they weren't enough to ruin the gameplay experience, I would say. The parachutes kind of did ruin the gameplay experience, but that can be avoided. Honestly, I had a fun experience playing the game. In terms of frame rate, I will admit the game does tank your frame rate, but to be fair, the game's textures are really high resolution and they look really good even on low settings. I personally had to play on low settings to have a higher than 60 FPS frame rate, or at least a more consistent high frame rate. And I think I was getting around a consistent 80 on low settings with my RTX 2060 Ryzen 7 4800H. I saw a lot of varying. Some people with really good graphics cards and CPUs were getting dog shit frame rates, so I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. So they should definitely iron that out as well, because having that much inconsistency can be really bad for gameplay and can be really unfair. But overall, my experience with the game was very fun, even if the frame rate wasn't super high. I don't really care, right? I'm there to enjoy the game, and I was able to. And 80 FPS isn't bad for a 2060 in a laptop, I would say, so I'll take it. I pre-ordered the game right before the beta, before the early access part of the beta, and then I decided to refund it and then get the ultimate edition. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'd love to hear people's thoughts in the comments. Have a little mini comment war. I've already got in some battles myself with people who were comparing the game with things like Cyberpunk and really losing their shit over it. Because a lot of people were being a bit over dramatic, I think, with how they acted and how they thought the game was. It wasn't as bad as a lot of people made it. If you hadn't tried it, I would say reserve your expectations until you see some actual gameplay or get your hands on it somehow, because a lot of what people were saying, I never found personally to happen to me. A lot of complaints I saw, a lot of problems were from people with older consoles or on consoles. So if you're on PC, you probably won't enter those problems. If you have a good graphics card, you're more likely to have a more fun experience. The one gripe I have is I can't play with my friends, because on PS4 and Xbox One they're limited to 60 players and they can't play crossplay with anyone but PS4 and Xbox One, and my friends are both on PS4. There's a lot of factors involved, but overall it's a very modern game, it's a very good looking game, it's a very fun game, it's a very fluid game, and hey, I look forward to seeing you all on the battlefield. If you're going to join me there, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video whenever I decide to make it, which could be anytime. Adios.